All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I would like to work on number 1 and number 7. It's just a little bit, actually no, we're gonna do number 1 and number 5 because those I feel like are more difficult ones and you're gonna be a little bit more confused by. So number 1, we're looking for grouping. Do we have any grouping? It looks like we do because we've got our negatives in parentheses, but we actually don't have any grouping. So now we're gonna look for our exponents. And I do see an exponent. We have -5 to the power of 2, which means we have -5 multiplied by -5. And we know a negative multiplied by a negative gives us a positive. So now we have 25 here. -2 times a -9 plus 6. Okay, let's look for our multiplication or division moving left to right. So subtraction, multiplication, 2 times -9 is going to give us, we have 2 different signs. Even though it's subtracting 2, we have 2, positive 2, multiplied by -9. So that's going to give us a -18. So we've got 25 minus a -18 plus 6. All right, this is where it gets a little bit funky because we're subtracting a negative. When we subtract a negative, I like to say we're going to add the opposite. In this case, those 2 negatives mean that we're going to end up adding 18. So 25 plus 18. And 25 plus 18 gives us 43. And because we're moving left to right, we're going to add that 6, and we end up with 49. I would like for you to box your answers just because it gets a little crowded. If you do need extra paper for these, there is yellow paper. There is notebook paper in the yellow bin above the textbooks over where your journals are. All right, let's look at number 5. I called it number 10 because there's a 10 there, and I shouldn't have. But there is grouping here. So we have 10 divided by a -5 minus a -2 times -3 to the 3rd power. All right, or to the power of 3. So let's start with our grouping because that's what's most important here. And within our grouping, we have to think about what that means for us. I don't see any exponents in our grouping, but I do see division. So 10 divided by a -5. The signs are different, so our answer is going to be negative. And 10 divided by 5 gives us 2. So now we have -2 minus, we're still grouped because we haven't finished grouping, minus a -2. So that's going to be, remember, we're going to add the opposite. So we have -2 plus 2. Well, that's just going to give us 0. So if we end up with 0 multiplied by -3 to the 3rd power, let's go ahead. We know we did our grouping, got all our G done. We have our E, -3 to the 3rd power. So that's -3 multiplied by -3 multiplied by -3. Here's where this gets a little bit confusing because -3 times -3 gives us a +9 because the signs are the same. But now we're going to multiply that +9 by a -3. 9 times a -3 gives a -27. So we now have 0 multiplied by -27. And because we're multiplying by 0, I know I took that extra step to make sure that I practiced my exponents. We know the answer is going to be 0. And I'm going to box that up so I know where the answer is. And I hope you guys have all of the luck in the world. Remember to make sure you're writing out your exponents and even making sure that you write out what it is now and multiplied by what it is, especially when it's negatives, so that you make sure you get the right sign there. All right, you guys, I did also post a lesson on integers here on my YouTube in the homework help playlist. So I hope this helps you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Bye.